Hello traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at 390 action in the S&P. That's Monday, the drop that we haven't seen in a long time. Let's first set the stage. We came into the weekend ginger already because of virus and all of that, and then we got thrown a loop or a curveball from Saudi Arabia, who decided to wage war against OPEC. No, actually change that against Russia, because OPEC and Russia tried to get to an agreement last week, to extend the cuts that they had in place that will expire this week, I think, or next. They couldn't come to term. I think Putin was playing hardball, so Saudi Arabia decided to, let me show you how it's done, sir. And they cut price and flood the market. So they're okay because they have money from Aramco, I think. Whatever they did, that giant IPO, that brings in a lot of money. So now they don't need much from oil. They break even below $10 a barrel. I read as low as $5 a barrel they break even. But they needed it at 50 in order to pay for their social programs. But if they have extra money, billions from somewhere else, they can offset that and take some pain. However, the rest of OPEC cannot, and I doubt that Saudi Arabia is willing to subsidize all the other guys in OPEC, especially Iran. So anyway, Iran is not going to be happy with that. So don't know how long it's going to be, the fight with oil, but it's there. And oil falling 25% at the open is not something that markets are comfortable seeing. Bonds through the roof. So anyway, the point of this video, we were falling, we had a decent close on Friday, and then I'm going to hit play and see what happened. These are 3-minute ticks. So this was Friday, and then you're going to see a sharp gap down. Boom, that was the open. And then the halt came in. They stopped trading for a little bit. Everybody gets their wits around. The second halt would have been down 13%. The first one is at 7%. So we didn't need to go to the second one. 7% was enough. The small caps closed down 10% on the day. That's a basket of 2,000 stocks. So not a lot is being said about that. Everybody's concentrating on the Dow down, whatever, what it was. So the Dow's 30 stocks. So everybody's scared. And in fact, the small caps, if you look at testing as far, they're already gone to test the Christmas crash of 2018, December 2018. So now with the S&P, we're still testing the most recent lows, which go back to 2019, not 2018. We have not tested the 2018 Christmas crash. So all eyes are going to be on it. So CNBC people, every expert's going to say, oh, you know, it's healthy to see 5 to 10% dip. Well, we've got 20. Yes, the S&P is down 20% from the high. So are they stepping up to the plate? I just can't imagine that this virus is even worse than the financial crisis of 2008. The VIX, the bonds are way above those levels. So when we had every bank on the planet collapsing, we weren't as worried as we were now via the bond market. The yields in the U.S. are almost to zero, but that was a telltale sign from the TNX as soon as it reversed, lost the neckline. So this is coming to the end of the day. So here's what's important. You see they open, they get to the worst point, they bounce off, and then they go back and try to test it. So if somebody's trading intraday, they can make money. But buying the bounce when it's still so negative is really reckless or challenging, especially if somebody's already long. Because when the VIX is this high, I don't trust upticks. Like this looked like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a V to a lot of people that don't know charts. But it's not. When the VIX is this high, it's just another bull trap. So it failed, and then they tried to hold the neckline, then fell into another neckline, and then look at where they're consolidating right here. So now you can visually see that there's a neckline that needs to be held. If not, that this must be the right shoulder to some sort of a head and shoulders going on back there. So what does that mean? When you test the neckline that many times, it needs to hold. Otherwise, the bulls are tired, and then they get overwhelmed by the bears once they lose the neckline. So I don't want to say gloom and doom for tomorrow, but you know, CNBC is going to be all over it. They love this stuff. If you think they're doing you a favor covering the market, they're setting it up. If they can cause this every week, they would, because that's how they make money. Shock and awe. They make money. So anyway, this is the S&P action. So we address the oil. So it's a matter of which floor are we testing. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to go to a daily, maybe a daily. I have no lines on here. I turned them off. So this is about a year's worth of data. So we're here. This is when we were here, May of 2019. So if I go to weekly, you'll see a little clearer where we're at, right here, and right here. So we have 2 confirmed bounces. This you can say it was tests. Now we're here. I don't like it that we're here so quickly. If we meander down to it, it's an easier bounce. But now we need a headline to reverse it. So the bulls need a headline to reverse it. This is the Christmas crash. And I call it a crash because sentiment was horrid. It was horrible. And the Fed was against us. Now the Fed is with us, but the Fed can do a lot of monetary stuff, not a lot of fiscal stuff. So, sorry about that. The chat room was open. Speaking of which, down in the description, hit it. So here we are. It is absolutely critical. This is a weekly candle. So it's going to take 4 days to unfold. More days. So it is critical that the government, White House, whatever, they get together and say, we have a fiscal plan. So if I was the president, vote me president, here's what I would say. Don't worry, this virus is pretty serious, like the flu was in its earlier days when we didn't know what the hell it was and people were dying of it. But we have the best medical team, the best minds on the planet working on it. We just got them $8.5 billion, and we're ready to do as much as we need to do in order to get this under control. It will take time, but we're all over it. Here's what you need to do meanwhile. Plus, for all those businesses that need help between now and when we get all back to work, here's $200, $400, $500 billion worth of available credit at zero interest for these businesses to continue operating and continue hiring people or not firing people. So you tell people that, they'll say, oh, okay, so we need time and we got money holding us in the meantime, everything will be fine. But saying nothing is ridiculous. And I'm not usually nitpicking the White House, trust me. If you know me, you know what I'm saying there. So there's a lot at stake from a business perspective, whether this is a dangerous virus or not. They caused it to clobber the P&Ls all over the world because they pretty much shut down the countries. And now they're praising China for doing the right things. Really? I can poke that in 6 million different ways. But anyway, back to the point. This is not the end of the stock market. It's just easier to concentrate on each individual company than try to catch an index that has a whole bunch of junk. So if this is 500 companies, why not do research and pick the companies you like? So if I'm looking at the S&P, AMD has been the best S&P company 2 years back to back. During the 2018 debacle, it was up 50% when the whole market was down. So I would do homework. This is a knife I'd be willing to catch before anything else, just because it's like betting on Blake Shelton on The Voice. He wins all the time, so why would you go with the other guy or girl? So this is a pivotal point. It's also falling into a pivot. I'm not saying buy AMD. I'm saying it's easier to do homework during these crazy times and then nibble on the ones that look better than others. I can throw a blanket on the SPY, but I don't really feel where is the bottom in the SPY, whereas this is it's easier to pick a bottom in a company with a specific P&L, specific thesis, a specific neckline. Like, look at this one right there. You know, if I wanted to sell a put, believe it or not, I can sell a put down here and collect $2 for it. So anyway, Nick signing out.